Welcome to Hollywood in Hollywild Radio. I'm Dave Thomas. Thanks for stopping by. If you heard our first show last week, you know a bit of my story. If you didn't, visit our radio station, kryzradio.org. It's archived there. And it's also archived on the hollywoodinhollywild.com website, along with essays, podcasts, pictures, videos that give you a lot more of my backstory and how I got here. The Sierra Nevada mountains, Mariposa, California. Mariposa is the oldest town in California, and for many years, the cultural capital of the West Coast. But Mariposa has riches far greater than gold. Its native peoples, its geology, and history are but a few of its mighty treasures. Heck, the paper The Mariposa Gazette has been around for 163 years. Hollywood and Hollywild was just in issue number 17, May 10th. You know, what's got my motor running is the music that we're creating later today for this radio show. I play guitar, sort of. I love to jam. Just, create a song from a beat with other players. Sometimes I'll play till my fingers bleed. Jamming is the only time people can all talk at the same time and make sense. As sometimes it makes so much sense you just dance. That's special. I've rented a studio, gotten a concert sound system, one of the best live mix engineers in the country, and a handful of brilliant virtuoso musicians to create songs from thin air, on the spot, and record them. We're going to try to get as many songs for this radio show as we can, and do more every month or so. Interestingly, this kind of musical expression, this kind of way to make songs, is only successful through the art and skill of listening. That's why this caliber of musician excels, being a great listener and being fast. I'd estimate that they're making decisions on the fly as fast or, faster than a Formula One driver. Like around 250th of a second. Not only making the right decision, but because they're musicians, making the tasteful one. Music is one of the great arts we have on this planet, just off the tip of an arm of a galaxy 100,000 light years across. We can't get more rural. Today's show. First, we'll meet the Hailers, not your average couple. They're bandmates, and their new album, Escape to Your Heart, is coming out soon. We've got 3 tracks, because, that's just how H&H Radio rolls. We'll check in with Eric Skirmorn and talk about music talent at the top, songs, how we figure them out and describe them. We'll wrap up with Amanda Fletcher, manager of Pan America's EV program and itinerant travel journalist. And we'll finish what we started with Simon Cole, the director genius behind the Aflac duck spots and thousands of other brilliant commercial campaigns. This is Hollywood in Hollywild Radio on kryzradio.org and KRYZ 98.5 LPFM. Next up, the Hailers. April and Robert, thanks for coming on the show today, and we're going to be sharing 3 songs from your upcoming album that you were gracious enough to share with Hollywood and Hollywild Radio.
Thank you.
No, listen.
That would be Escape to your heart.
Come on, thank you. The music is great, and I just cannot wait to share it with everybody. But I wanted to, give them a little bit more of an idea of who it is that I'm talking to. You guys are a couple, and you're also bandmates.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So, let me just get to the meat of the second question I was going to ask you, which was, as a couple, what are some of the advantages and disadvantages of being, a couple and also creatively working with each other?
Well, okay. Well, you get to mull stuff over, after you've had a rehearsal, a good one or a bad one.
Oh, yeah.
You get to sort of, rethink it and make some fine-tuning. So it's constantly evolving.
Yeah, because you have two sets of ears listening and maybe coming up with a different idea on something, or thinking like, oh, well, that part really stuck out for me, and so there's a lot of strength in it, I guess.
April's not just about the shoes.
Very funny.
She starts down at the bottom and works her way right up to the top. There's no escape, so...
And,
she's like an MRI, an X-ray machine,
and she plays bass, so she's carrying the beat. A band is not a band without a bass.
Oh, she carries it. Yeah, the bottom end and a great groove. It's all about the groove, which is what we're trying to bring back.
And all of those 3 songs that you sent me, just
keep it organic.
Yeah, but the groove on all 3 of these songs is absolutely dynamo. It's so exciting.
Thank you.
So tell me about the project that you're working on now. You're working on a new album, and these 3 songs come from this album. Tell me a little bit more about the whole process.
Well, okay, we went into a studio and set up like we were doing a show, a live
on stage,
live concert.
The whole set up like that.
And then they mic'd everything up with these old vintage mics and put them through a tube console, not solid state, with all tube valve, if you will.
Yeah.
And it just caught how the band really sounds and feels. It just caught a moment in time. So we're really happy with it. And yeah, I think, it's something special. It's definitely translated.
Because in that kind of environment, we were able to really play off each other as we would on stage, so it had that energy, rather than everybody sitting with, headphones on and somebody being isolated in another room or whatever like that. We didn't have that. It was eye-to-eye contact with everybody.
Yeah, to be clear, we didn't even use headphones. We just went for it like we were on stage.
Oh, wow.
Because very often on stage you don't hear everything you'd like to hear, and you don't have great monitors. You just trust the guy that it sounds out front, sounds fine up front. So we just trusted the guy in the booth that he was catching everything, and we just went in there and did our thing.
Well, I gotta tell you, man, he really he's got great ears. Because I would never have thought that you did those songs that way. They, the vocals are lifted out perfectly. You can hear everything in the band. It's especially the first song.
Look at us now.
Look at us now. Yeah, it's such a brilliant anthematic piece of music, and I mean, it starts off, and before you know it, you're standing up and your feet's moving. You're like, this is rock and roll, and you guys just have that all the magic that comes with rock and roll is present in all of these tunes, and it was so exciting to listen to.
Thank you, David. Well, just to be clear, we did after recording it, going and listen to everything and mix it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was quite an easy task because, we just went from one song to another, but to lift the vocals out and the backing vocals and everything and put everything in its place that did take some time.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would expect so. We're not.
Was it 11 minutes or was it about maybe 20 minutes?
20 minutes. Yeah. No. I mean, it's none of the things that you or I do or any of the people that are on this show is a whip out quick fast thing. I mean, everybody, oodles and oodles of preparation and very exciting stuff. So let me ask you another question, because people always assume that if you play rock and roll, that's always what you listen to is rock and roll. What kind of music do you guys listen to when you're not working?
Oh God, that's a hard one.
It depends on the mood, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're very eclectic as far as that goes. I mean, we listen to
Give me a range.
every genre.
Okay, cool jazz. Sometimes we listen to like blues. There's a really good blues station. It's a college station.
Yeah.
88.5.
Yeah.
And a friend of ours, Anne the Raven, does a fantastic show on a Sunday. She's played us, in fact, Blues Sister.
Yeah.
Oh, wow,
And
great.
she turned up at the show, the last show we did, and we played that song for us. So that's funny. You said to me, "Oh, you like that song?" So you're not alone.
Oh my gosh, how could I be? I mean, when I played it. I sent the tunes to Eric Skirmahorn, the guy who does the guitar work on my podcast, and he was like, "Blues Sister, Blues Sister." That's my. He was like this. He was like, "This band is so cool. I want to play with them." And I was like, "Well, you're gonna get to play with them." Yeah, he's so.
Oh, did you tell him, David? Did you already beat him to it?
No, I told him the hysterical story of when you guys talked me into coming up and playing a guitar behind you, and I was okay on the first song. I made it through the whole song, and I almost got all the chords in it. And the second song I was semi okay, but I couldn't stop laughing.
No, every time I looked around at you, you were smiling. Right, I thought, "Oh, you're having a good time."
Oh my gosh, it was.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
Enjoy what you're doing. Huh?
It was
Right.
so much fun. Now, I also want to talk about this other exciting thing that we're doing. It's sort of sharing the aha moment that musicians get to experience on a semi-regular basis, especially when they're writing, where they get together and they jam. And, the nature of a jam is that nobody knows what they're going to play. And so everybody has to listen really, really well to make it sound great. And to that end, one of the things that I want to mash up on my radio show is the incredible caliber of musician talent that I know in LA, you guys and Eric and so many other brilliant people. And I'm going to bring all of you guys together at a studio in Hollywood, and I'm just going to take groups of 4 and 5 and 3 and 6 and maybe more, and put you guys on the stage and let you work out a couple of minutes and then play something off the tops of your head, and then the good stuff we're gonna record it all, and then the good stuff we're gonna share with the audience here on Hollywood and Hollywild Radio, and I can't wait to do that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know. And, the mind-blowing thing is nobody's ever done anything like this on radio or in entertainment. So this is sort of new territory. And the great thing is we'll be able to promote all the great players that you guys get to play with, because you have a very diverse talent pool that you can draw from.
Yeah, we're very lucky there.
Yeah. I mean, that party where I played at, there were so many remarkable. Even there was a kid that was playing drums he was 10 or 11 years old. He was.
Yeah, that's my son.
Kid was incredible.
Yeah, I don't know where he gets it from.
Well,
We used to be the older ones.
I was amazed. Hey, but I'll tell you a funny story. My other son, the eldest one, said he was doing a show in Cardiff, and I said, "Well, send me some photos." And he sent me a photograph, and he's leaning into a keyboard, and I go, "Holy shit! I didn't know he played keyboards." And then then I see the guitar around his neck, you know?
Oh my
and
gosh.
Then two photographs along, he's playing guitar. And I went, he's one up me.
That's brilliant.
So I got to get a keyboard now just to keep up.
I'm just saying the apple don't fall far from the tree there.
Well, you know, and the best way to do that is to get like a really great old Fender Rhodes so that he, you know, you don't have to be better than him because you've got better equipment.
Yeah, the Wurlitzer. I'm actually a big fan of the Wurlitzer.
Oh, come on. Oh, I love the Wurlitzers. And the...
But actually, I got to chirp in for a minute. That's the one kind of fun thing about the new album is you do get a little bit of the classic sound. We got a full-on B3 in there with the Leslie and everything going.
Yeah.
And we got the keyboards and slow piano, and it's just...
it's all organic. Yeah, it's all natural.
Very natural stuff going on there.
And the tube stuff, you know, I mean, people don't realize what a complete difference that makes. I mean, you know, when I work in the booth as a voiceover artist, I have a preamp, and my preamp is an Avalon 737. That's a tube preamp, and that just makes my voice sound great. And, you know, I mean, I can be sick and it still sounds good. You know what I mean?
Yes, it does make a difference. There's a roundness to the sound as opposed to a square, boxy sound, you know?
Yeah, which digital kind of gives you sometimes.
Right. Well, we found this studio, and it all tubes, you know, so everything you plugged into had a tube front end. So it just sounded fabulous.
Is that studio in L.A., or did you guys go someplace?
Yes. Center Point Studio.
Oh, cool.
Ashton Pittman is the guy that runs it. He's the guy that, for musicians are familiar with, he's the groove tube guy.
Oh, wow, cool.
And a groove tube.
Yeah, he's all about tubes.
He's all about the tube. Really. Yeah, but it's down here in L.A. It's a good experience.
Oh, that's fantastic. So where are you playing next?
Oh, next we are playing at Viva Cantina.
Oh, sounds cool.
Rancho Viva Cantina.
Rancho Viva.
And then, and after that we play the first Friday of every month at Island 32.
A little local place that it's just kind of...
It's a live music place, got a great stage and lights and PA. And we go there and blow the place up.
During the once-a-month thing, we get to hash out a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I can imagine.
We get to get the bounce back, the feedback from the audience of what's really working and what's not.
Well, you guys will come back to the show and do some more stuff with us, won't you?
Oh, yeah.
All right,
sure.
Cool. All right, cool.
There's like 9 songs on the new album, which is called Escape to Your Heart. One of the title.
Thank you so much, Robert and April.
Pleasure.
So, Eric, what'd you think of that interview? They're pretty cool.
Great. Yeah, great. I love hearing the process that they talk about of recording. You know.
And that studio, right?
Yep. The tubes. I get it. The tubes is what fattens everything up, and all the music we grew up loving was done that way.
On tubes, right? Exactly.
Yeah, just the juicy analog, which it's cool to have.
Yeah,
it's cool.
You've heard the songs.
Yep.
Escape to Your Heart is the name of the album, and it's by the Hailers. And the first song that we're going to listen to is going to be "Look at Us Now." How'd you feel about did that hit you someplace? Or what?
Yeah, man. I mean that's the anthemic one, right?
Yeah,
Beautiful,
exactly.
The vocals. You feel like you just want to. People are just pumping their fists in the air, singing.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you hear it, you start tapping your foot. The next thing you know, you're standing in your chair.
And I got a little of that country thing in the beginning, but it draws you in, and all of a sudden it turns. It definitely has that
great message.
Yeah, great message, and that.
And the energy is come on.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yep. Great energy.
Yeah.
Great
so,
energy.
Okay. So, second song, Blues Sister. Oh my God.
Yeah. That one. What I love about that one was the Allman Brothers. That reminds me of Allman Brothers. Early Fillmore East Allman Brothers for a second, the intro, and then obviously when those background vocals come into me, it's so hooky. The female vocals in the back.
So hooky. I love the background vocals.
Beautiful. Yeah.
That's April. That's my girl April. Okay, and then Third song is Crazy.
Crazy, the rock riff.
Yeah.
Which is psychedelic. It's psychedelic, but it reminds me of, it's got a very, I don't know. I don't want to say it.
No.
Got that Joshua Tree thing.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's just such, all three tunes are really classic rock and roll.
Classic.
Just,
Totally classic,
such a message. And these guys have been playing forever.
Yeah, great vocals. Guy can sing, man.
I know, right?
Robert can sing, yeah.
All right, so we're going to share some of the Hailers from their new album, Escape to Your Heart. This is Look at Us Now.
Look
Next up, Amanda Fletcher. This is Hollywood in Hollywild Radio on KRYZradio.org and KRYZ 98.5 LPFM. Okay, well, last week we had Amanda Fletcher talking to us about all the great stuff that PEN America does. And we still have her because we continued on our conversation. And now we're going to get to know Amanda Fletcher a little bit more personally and find out more of the stuff that she's into, because she's not just about PEN America. She's also a writer. Amanda, tell us something about, well, how did you get involved with PEN, and then did that kind of throw you into the position that you're in now, with your being such a phenomenal globetrotter?
Oh my
You're
goodness.
like one of the most well-traveled women in the world.
I'm so lucky. Okay, well, Dave, I was writing. My degree is in kinesiology. I was a personal trainer. I always knew that I wanted to be a writer, but I did not come from that kind of family that believed in the creative arts in any way, shape, or form. So basically, it was one of those things where I just kind of stopped. It was a pipe dream that was always in the back of my head. But when I moved to Los Angeles in 2007, I started taking classes at UCLA Writers Extension Program, and I met the fabulous Samantha Dunn. You know this woman,
Oh my God,
right?
I love her.
The best. She's like the Jessica Rabbit of the writing.
I know her.
world.
I know her. I love her, but I have actually never met her in person.
Stop your nonsense. We need to rectify that immediately.
No, I know, but she's going to be
Oh
on the
my God,
show
amazing.
because I already
Perfect.
called her.
You'll love
Yeah,
her.
so
You know
we're gonna
what?
talk.
Let's see. I'm going to tell
yeah.
the story, and we'll see how she tells the story. So
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm writing a memoir. I've been writing this since, the incident happened in 2002. I started writing about it in 2005, and it's now 2018, so don't judge me.
No way.
But basically in 2002, I was in Lake Havasu City, Arizona, for Labor Day weekend, party weekend. I jumped out of a boat and hit my head on a rock and broke my neck in 3 places. So my memoir the story hangs on me in the 4 months in a cervical halo, but really it's a story about unconditional love and how much we can expect from the people in our lives when they need to say goodbye, like when they have to say, like, I can't do this anymore, and how we're supposed to learn to love ourselves. So I had this kind of project idea, and Sam was teaching a weekend workshop at UCLA, and strangely enough, a friend of mine got hit on his bicycle the night before the workshop and broke his neck. So I was in the hospital with him, and I missed the first day of the workshop. So I walked in the second day, and, we'd been at the hospital for 2 days, and I looked like, death warmed over, probably had my sunglasses on inside walking into this workshop. And Sam will just tell you that I was just this glamorous, looked like I'd been partying all night long, walking into the workshop halfway done, like I owned the place. It's her favorite story. But really, it was like, how serendipitous or whatever that this had happened to this person, and here I am trying to write my story about it happening to me. And then Sam, Sam has just been my rock since then. I've taken quite a few I took quite a few writing classes with her. She was living in Northern California and was coming to stay with me. I was single. I had room while she was teaching a private workshop, and we just got really close. So Sam was my jumping off point. She sent me to Skidmore Summer Writers Institute. She recommended me to Emerging Voices. And I applied. Yes, I applied. I made it to the interview process in 2011. I did not get it.
That's right. You were in 2012.
2012, I did get it. And 2 weeks before I found out that I received a fellowship, I found out I had breast cancer. So it was like I went into my EV interview, and the question was like, are you going to be well enough to accept this responsibility? And I said, absolutely. And I fulfilled all the requirements. As you know, I was in your sound booth.
Oh, yeah.
All the author evenings,
brought
I
it.
brought it. And basically from that point on, like, I was just so grateful for this opportunity. It's like, I didn't have any writing experience, like no formal writing experience. I didn't have an English degree. I didn't have any of that. I just wanted to tell the story. And they took a chance on me, and it was like I was willing to do anything to pay that back. Jillian Lauren was my mentor. She wrote Some Girls, about being in the harem, in the Sultan Brunei's harem. Yeah, so I was like really lucky. Like I felt like we get these 3 public readings. Like suddenly you're like somebody in Los Angeles. So it was really exciting, and I was willing to do anything. So whenever they needed a volunteer, whenever they needed an extra set of hands, I was always available. So when the job opened up, I think that my predecessor, Libby Flores, was kind of like I was at the top of her list. Because I was responsible, which I'm sure like with artists, that's not always the case.
No, it's not.
So.
I mean, I was just telling somebody the other day, I was like, oh my God, I thought actors were the flakiest artists out there, but young musicians are way flakier.
Oh my God, it's a competition. I don't know who is flakier.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's really weird, isn't it?
But then I think that, going back to something that you've said in previous conversations, it's like, it was giving so much of ourselves emotionally, like that's so draining. And, when you're doing that on top of like holding some kind of administrative position or like any position where you're like expected to like punch a card or like go somewhere day after day, the same place, it's hard. It's difficult to keep showing up for your craft, for your job,
Yeah, it wears.
Yeah.
It wears everybody thin.
So basically, that's kind of how I ended up in this position, and that book is not writing itself. Let me just tell you, I am still plugging away at it. But Sam has been my champion, and she is the executive editor at Coast Magazine in Orange County, and it just so happened that one of her travel writers fell through on a trip. And it was to Canada, and I am Canadian, so the natural progression was that I would take it.
Go to.
And I just fell in love with this trip and this idea of being able to write about these experiences, and I think I did a pretty good job, and so I've become the boat person for Coast, I think, because it was a trip.
Oh, really?
It was a small cruise, like a boutique cruise, northern Canada, and then it was a boutique cruise in the Sea of Cortez, and then I just returned from a princess cruise, which is a totally different experience, to Japan. And there was a moment where this is my life, Dave. There was a moment where I was in the gym, and I had the double doors open, looking out over the Sergio Valley, and I burst into tears. So I was like, how is this my life?
So exciting.
So good.
Exciting. We're going to bring Amanda Fletcher back in the future. Don't be a stranger and come back and visit us because you're just so much fun to talk to.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
This is Blues Sister from the album Escape to Your Heart by the Hailers. This is KZRYradio.org on 98.5 LPFM. Next up, Simon Cole. We had a great conversation with Simon Cole on last week's show, and we just didn't have enough time to finish all the cool questions. So I continued on with our interview, and so Simon, thanks for being on the show again. And I wanted to ask you, and we both can relate to this because we're both older than 40 by a few years. I mean, how do we get our heads around the ageism Hollywood has for
Well,
older
that's a very
people?
good question, Dave, and ultimately it's a very difficult one to answer because quite often when somebody of a certain age, like myself or you, have a complaint about it, it just sounds like we're old fools moaning about how things used to be. So it's a very difficult conversation to have about ageism if you're older. We are, without doubt, in entertainment, we are a depreciating asset. Partly this is due to the fact that most people who spend money on entertainment are pretty much aged between 18 and 35, perhaps 45 now. So there's a sense that in the end, if you are going to create something for those people, you should use somebody from their peer group, which will borrow from all the cultural life lessons and cultural impressions that they have, and therefore they'll create something that's easier to relate to that generation. So there is some sense in the idea of using people of the generation you're trying to talk to try and make that story. For some reason in entertainment, this seems more profound than others. If you are a civil rights lawyer or an architect or a heart surgeon or
And you're
research
older.
scientist, the more experience you have, and the more rounded experience you have, the better you'll seem, the more credibility you'll have. But in entertainment, it seems completely the other way around. I, as we talked about in the last interview, have made over 1,500 commercials. I'm only really allowed to show the last 20 commercials I've done. If I mention any of the classics from my past that are award winners or that are famous that people have known, then ultimately it dates me, and I'm told by my agent and by my the people that sell my work not to mention 1,400 and odd commercials. I'm told not to mention my past because it dates me. So there is a very strange attitude that in some ways makes sense, and in other ways, as an artist or as a filmmaker or as a commercials maker, you get this overwhelming feeling of all this useless experience. And I was always assuming that it would count for something, but in fact it counts against me. And a lot of it is to do with economics. It's to do with who's going to buy, who's going to watch, who's going to relate to this. And there is a feeling, especially in American culture, and it's slightly different in European culture, there is a credibility amongst older people, especially in the major metropolitan cities, that older people have a contributing voice. But in Los Angeles and in Hollywood, where I live and where Dave used to live, there's a feeling that once you get to a certain age, the only rightful thing to do is stay inside. And that's a very peculiar experience. But like I said at the beginning, me moaning on and whinging on about how being an old veteran of my industry and how unfair it is and how wrong it is perpetuates the stereotype of why people don't want to use old people, because we're just whinging and moaning. The trick is, and I think it's something that you've done, Dave, and it's something that I've done, is the art of reinvention. And if they let you, if the industry let you, you can, and you have the skills to, you can
redescribe yourself.
You can find ways to reinvent yourself, to redescribe the lessons of the past into the present and the future, and perhaps once in a while you'll be able to sneak it through without it dating you or making you sound like you're past your sell-by date. So it is a very unusual experience to have all this incredible skills that you've learned over time, and in the end, it's probably best a career decision to forget everything you've learned.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what every artist has to do anyway. I mean, you know, you're finished with the last project, you need to create something new, or some new point of view, some new way of looking at it, you know, standing on your head and looking at it upside down.
There's a new physicist that has written this study about time, and ultimately he, that I was reading the other day, the thing about commercials directors, we're really, really interesting for about 15 minutes, so not quite sure if I've overstepped my mark, and I feel I'm going into this zone. But he has just written this paper based upon the idea of seeing time as a series of events.
I think that that's a great way to actually describe this whole project of Hollywood and Holly Wild. Is, you know, because, you know, all these interviews are with people that I've known and have worked with, and, you know, and some of them I've done crazy stuff with. And it's a sort of a, I don't want to call it a regurgitation, but it's a sort of a remix, a remaster of a lot of the good fun stuff that happened in my life. And you know, I like you, I get a big kick out of what I do, and I don't want to stop doing it. It's certainly as long as I can still do it well. And so, you know, I left Hollywood, but I haven't really left Hollywood.
I think your experience, Dave, and I've known you for many, many years and admire what you've just done. The journey that you're taking from the dirty city, predatorial city, out into the spiritual landscape is a bit like Giacometti, the sculptor, who expressed the art and skill that he uses to create his sculptures, is that he takes a piece of wood or a piece of stone and he removes everything that isn't the subject. In a way, your experience of moving to Mariposa is kind of a bit like what a sculptor does, which is just remove everything that isn't the subject. And
all the dross.
Yeah, and I think that's what I hear in you, and hear in your voice, and hear in your experience of being in that magical place, that in a way you stripped away everything that doesn't count, leaving you with the essence of something. And when I'm at your place and I look up at the sky and I see the Milky Way and I don't have the reflection the pollution of the city spoiling the sky, and I look at nature and the way it wraps around your lifestyle, and I think about the essence of things, and I think that is a cleansing thing and something that all your neighbors and all your community that you now live in, all to a certain degree experience that, which is a removal of things that aren't important and strip everything down to the essence of life. So, I'm very jealous because that is at the essence of why the place is so positive and so beautiful, and why it's important that people be allowed and given the space to create things that isn't at odds with nature, that is in concert with nature. And I think that's part of your philosophy, and I wish you all the luck in the world with it, Dave.
Thank you so much. This next song, titled Crazy, from the Hailers' new album, Escape to Your Heart.
A bad day in the hood, a fire burning all around, and not an angel to be found in this town. Crazy. In all this time you wonder why, in all this time you wonder why. Crazy. Beautiful toys, pretty girls, beautiful boys. We got it 24 hours a day. Hey, we might even blow you away. Crazy. Oh, yeah. Crazy. All this time you wonder why. In all this time you wonder why. In all this time you wonder why. All the thoughts, all those faces, in and out, the crazy bars, nature deeds, Ferrari cars. Nighttime. Crazy, crazy. In all this time you wonder why. In all this time you wonder why. In all this time you wonder why. Crazy. In all this time you wonder
that's our show this week. Next week, we'll meet a library scientist, Alex Smith, and we'll find out how he can grow an ounce of vegetables with just 4 gallons of water. And we'll meet and talk to Natasha Dion, a New York Times best-selling author, law professor, literary event producer, and mom. We'll have more music from Eric that is completely different from what we've shared so far. And maybe we might have one of the new songs from tonight's record session at an undisclosed secret location in Hollywood, California. Oh, I still have time to say hi to some folks. Hey, GNR, your lambs and goats, boy, these sure are growing fast. Hey, all you people that, wave to me from your car. I really like that. It makes my day. Thanks. Can't wait for the 10th. Just after the show on June 10th, I'm going to go listen to our local historian, Lucy Parker, who I believe is Southern Miwok tribe, at our local museum. Not only is she a historian, she's a master basket weaver, and she's got works in museums. Some you may have heard, like the Smithsonian. I'm super excited. In case anyone was wondering, my mom really likes the show. I'm pretty happy about that, so you can tell your friends. Not about my mom, but about the show. I love living in the country. 2 squirrels recently moved into my woodpile. It's a nice couple, friendly and very talkative. They make a nice pair. Keep an eye out for the little critters, and I'll see you next week on Hollywood and Hollywild Radio. This is KRYZradio.org and KRYZ 98.5 Low Power FM. This is KRYZradio.org and KRYZ 98.5 LPFM, home of Hollywood and Hollywild Radio.